please. G'day, Spice Legends. Welcome to Burner Bites Down Under, a hotter show down under. Spice Legends, you're joining us for a very special interview tonight. We are interviewing the New South Wales Chili champ, Adam the Chili King Connell. That's right. He was on Australia's Got Talent with us. He broke the record for most Carolina Reapers in 60 seconds. 25 in 60 seconds, weighing 123 grams. 50 Carolina Reapers in 3 minutes and 22 seconds down at Griffith Chili Festival. Wow, he's not an easy man to slow down, let alone stop or defeat. So could he defeat Gabby this year? We don't know. There's a lot of epic competitors this year. So let's get the man, the myth, the legend, the New South Wales Chili champ, Adam the Chili King Connell, into the studio now. All right, Adam, how you going, legend?
Yeah, going pretty good, Phil.
That's the way, mate. So I see you got all the lights going on tonight. Is there a bit of a party on?
No, just chilling at home.
That's
right. These are all the solar lights and everything in the garden. So
yeah, right. And so you just recently you've been recently married. If you guys have been following the page, we live streamed the wedding there, and then you went off to the honeymoon. How was the honeymoon, mate?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Went to Fiji, stayed at Club Fiji for 6 days. It was good. It was relaxing.
Yeah, the old school traditional weddings. You'd go to the honeymoon and you'd consummate the wedding and the marriage. But you guys have obviously been together a bit longer, so you've got some kids. So clearly you've consummated the marriage a while ago. Yeah, absolutely. So, what's it called? Did you get up to anything crazy or fun or interesting over in Fiji?
Oh yeah, so we went. We arrived in Fiji on the Sunday. We chilled on Monday. Tuesday we went and done some shopping, bought some souvenirs and stuff. Wednesday we went on a island cruise. So just got on a sailboat and just sailed out to a couple of the islands and done some snorkeling. Glass bottom boat. And
I'd be so tempted to sing that song that Cartman sings in South Park. I'm sailing away. No, but yeah. So that sounds like mad fun. Did you see any interesting sea life or wildlife in the water there? Or
no, not really. I on the snorkeling, I did sort of seen some crabs and some octopus, and just all the reef fish. The glass bottom boat it wasn't too bad. There wasn't a lot of fish to see because it stayed close to the shore, so there wasn't a great deal to see in the glass bottom boat. But it was still a good day out. Beautiful island, nice, beautiful blue water. So it was good. It was a good day.
Yeah, I really rate Fiji. I went there when I was way younger, and it's funny. I nearly wasn't here. I was snorkeling with my family. And my mum's turned back around to say something to me, and she's quickly gone like that. And I'm like, swam quickly to her, going, "What's up?" And she's like, "There was a fucking moray eel about to nyong on your foot, right?" Because I don't know, I've like gone past its hole or home or something, and it's going to go like she said it was rearing up to do the whole nyong, and I come towards her real quick. And it's like missed. And I was like, what? And like, apparently those things are poisonous or some shit. I'm going, and we were like a couple of kilometers out in the reef. You know, I'm going, wouldn't have got back quickly. That would have sucked. But yeah, okay. All right. So the other cool thing is some interesting little, oh yeah, what were you going to say?
On the day after, on the Thursday, we went to Sleeping Giant Zip Line.
Ooh,
so it was a track that went around the jungle, and it had 5 different zip lines on it, and it was that was pretty cool.
I don't mind me a bit of zip lining. I've gone zip lining in Cairns at the Daintree, and you're about 50 to 100 meters above the ground in the treetops. It's pretty bloody awesome. So that sounds like it'd be mad fun in Fiji there.
Oh, it was so good, and I'm so proud of my wife. Like, when we first went there, she wasn't sure if she was going to do the zip lining, And but she went head first in and she did it. So I'm so proud of her.
There you go. Good work, Paula. So, matey, you got a couple of. Oh, I'm going to point that way. You got a couple of different little items there that you're going to be playing with.
Got a range of sauces here. We've got some Kilty's Chipotle barbecue.
I love Kilty's. I love Kilty's stuff. They've got great beer.
Kilty's are so good. We got the Chili Tribe.
Oh yeah, they got good stuff. Is that the Sunday?
This one's the. Let's say it's Death by Chocolate habanero.
Oh, yum! That's
Death
pretty
by
cool.
Chocolate.
Yeah. What else you got there, mate?
So we got this one. I haven't got the back light on because the back light shines into the camera. This is Basket Case, peach habanero hot sauce.
Yeah, they've got a great range, Basket Case. Yeah. They're fantastic sauces, actually. Yeah. I was shocked. I ran into them in the Good Food and Wine Festival, and I was like, wow, they have like a massive range.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, yeah. We've got the Chili Factory. So the Chili Factory is quite popular. Like they're a really good company. They make some brutally hot sauces, including the Scorpion Strike on steroids.
Yeah, it's bloody hot, that one. And the Paralyzer, that 10 million Scoville extract too, eh?
Yeah. So this one's Echidna Prickle.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I think that was the first one.
Mild mustard.
Yeah. It's very Moorish. It's sort of got a little bit of honey in it, I think, as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I've got Todd River Dust, which is the sweet.
Yeah, that's good. I like that one. Yeah. And you got a couple of pods there as well, is that right?
Yeah, yep. So I've got some Butcherloki ghost peppers. I've got some what were the other ones? They were these ones that are what's Brain Killer? Oz Brain Killer 2.
Yep.
And then I've got Trinidad Scorpion Butch Teas.
So for those that don't know what Oz Brain Killers are and how hot they are, can you just sort of explain it to them and just sort of walk us through what they are and what kind of heat level and where you're feeling it?
So the Oz Brain Killer, I find they're more of a sour tasting pod. Like they don't have like a sweet fruity flavor or anything. I find it's more of a sour, kind of like a sour dirt taste.
Oh, it's a sour, earthy kind of taste, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. As for heat level, Oz Brain Killer, I would put them close to, I'd say 750 to close to 1,000,000 Scoville.
Yeah. Okay. So getting closer to Reaper heat, so sort of in the direction of Ghost or Viper.
Yeah, they're definitely a super hot chili.
Yeah.
So they're up there with the Reaper and the Trinidads and the Butcherloki Ghosts.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Awesome. So we're gonna try and mix it up a little bit today because obviously you've done an interview before, and so we're just sort of doing this interview for the sake of all the people that don't know who you are, and just sort of trying to be a bit more of awareness of our competitors this year, because I've got a few new competitors, and the ones that have already been in the comp, you know what you're in for, so you know what to train for, kind of thing, you know. And this year I've seen, because we've got the incentive of the World Chili Champs after this, which I've just spoken to Ed, where they're aiming for more of like October now in South Carolina. They're just finishing like the legal stuff and paperwork with Netflix and stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting, you know. So whoever wins the national comp, as you're aware, matey, they get free flights and accommodation to what's called South Carolina with me, which is going to be one hell of a competition. You know, we all know Smoke and Ed is he breeds chilies like no one else, you know, and to see something, I think everyone's a bit nervous and excited to see what a Pepper X would be like in a competition, you know. So how does that make you feel that you got a 1 in 8 chance at actually doing that and actually trying a Pepper X in person at Smoking Head Farm, mate?
I'm pretty stoked about this opportunity. Like, I've I've been in the chili world since start of 2021, where I done the Australian Stream Meatball Challenge, and
Which
after
is
that,
that's no easy feat. I remember seeing, what was it? There was one competition where everyone was out in the first round.
yeah,
You know,
I don't think
that's amazing.
anyone finished the first round. So yeah, it was brutal.
Absolutely. I think it was like one guy that didn't spew or something, because like that was a wild competition. Like two kids. So if you guys didn't know about this, is run by Rob Dunn from Australian Extreme Chili Condiments. He made these meatballs where there were 2 kilos of mince and 2.5 kilos of reapers, and then he put a spoonful of 9 million Scoville hot sauce on each of the balls. And yeah, you were one of the poor people that had to put that in your mouth.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you? That was like an initiation by fire as well, wasn't it?
That being one of my first official comps, that was being thrown in the deep end of the fire straight away.
Oh, absolutely. Like that's been like thrown in the deep end of a fucking volcano. Like, did you feel like Terminator at the end of the first Terminator movie? He's like, "How are you?" All you can do is stick up a thumb, like
yeah. Well, after doing the comp, I was basically like you and Rob told me, at the end of the comp, get rid of it, like get it straight out, because you don't want to leave it in there. And I was too busy talking, doing a few interviews and just chatting. And I figured, my stomach will just get rid of it when it wants to. And by that stage, I processed so much capsaicin that even when I did purge, I couldn't get enough of it up, and I ended up going into respiratory distress.
Yeah.
It's
not a joke, is it? Yeah.
I was pretty much unresponsive for 10 minutes on the grounds of Mount Penang Gardens with St John's First Aid, and they were on the brink of sending me to hospital.
Yeah, yeah. Because and you weren't the only one. I tell you what, there was another girl there, and she was trying to get to the Portaloos, and unfortunately for her, there was somewhere in the Portaloos, and she definitely made a mess of her pants. And then I think she was also the same girl that she's just gone, right, it's too hot, and you just stripped off, and everyone's like, oh, okay, everyone out of the medical tent, like,
yeah,
she just got naked. She's like, it's too hot, can't deal, closed, no, thank you, bye. I was like, oh, okay, right. They had to like put the flaps down and then like close off the tent so that they were giving her privacy. And we're just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Right. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It was absolutely no joke. And if you were just a newbie coming in off the street, yeah, that would suck. Like that would absolutely suck. And
that was pretty much my very first chili comp was the Mad Hatter Challenge from Dion Forbes. But that
was no joke, wasn't it?
No, that was no joke either. That was 60 ml shots of alcohol, chili infused alcohol. And the last one was a kilo of Carolina Reapers, a kilo of Ghost peppers, all powdered up and put into a bottle of Jägermeister.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was a 60 ml shot of Jaeger with Carolina Reaper and scorpion powder.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I remember doing one was the Death Wish he made, and he reckoned it was like the equivalent of 100 Carolina Reapers blended up, mixed in with vodka and strawberries and cream flavor. It tasted great for the first 30 seconds, and then you're like, "Oh man, I'm in trouble! Yeah. Like, what have I done to myself? What have I put inside my body? Like, Yeah. So, I guess the question the first one would be, what are we going to be starting on tonight, mate? What's the first thing we're going to eat tonight?
Well, I figured we'd start sort of, start off sort of with the lighter stuff. So I'm probably going to do a tablespoon of the barbecued Hilty's Chipotle barbecue sauce.
Oh, yeah, I have to say, guys, this is one of my favorite barbecue sauces. Is hand smoked Chipotle, is that the right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that is an absolutely beautiful
Makes
sauce.
the
You know,
Chipotle
it's,
barbecue sauce
well, yeah,
infused with habaneros.
yeah. No, that is a gorgeous sauce. I put that stuff on
It's a
so
beautiful
much food.
sauce.
Yeah.
Really is.
Beautiful. So shout out to Porrick, or as we might pronounce it in Australia, Patrick, from Kilty Sauces, mate. Absolutely love your gear. Great bloody stuff. Enjoy that, man. You know what that really goes good on? I love it on a good pie, mate. That is such a good pie sauce, you know? And he does make a sauce, the pie sauce, right? Which is
Yep.
fantastic on pies as well, ironically.
Yeah. I've actually got some meat pies, mini meat pies in the oven at the moment. So
Oh, yeah.
do with some of the sauces as well. So I love
All
it on
right.
meat pies.
So look, yeah, this year we're going to have some interesting what do you call it, products and things like that. One of the things I was just showing before, and I was just talking to Liz. So this year we have our first Northern Territory products at Spice Legends. So if you're not just tuning in, before we only had like 6 competitors. We've gone out of our way to make sure there's a competitor from every state and territory in Australia. So that meant getting a Northern Territory / Darwin champion, and making sure we had a Tasmania champion. So none of these guys are pushovers, including Adam there as well. But what I have in my spicy little hands here is some. So everyone knows a bit about jerky. This is the same process, but with pineapples. So it's like a jerky pineapple that's completely coated in reapers. So it's a reaper pineapple. So one of the things I saw from this producer. So this is Liz. So thank you so much, Liz, again for these amazing products. We've got a few bags of this one. This will be one of the rounds. So it's sort of like a Reaper pineapple kind of jerky that you guys are going to be chewing on for the comp in one of the rounds. Was inspired by what she did is she made these for her kids. She made a jerky version of fruit salad. And I was like, oh, imagine a spicy fruit salad, and just like really evil and amped up. So I thought that was pretty cool. How does it make you feel having that included, mate, in the comp as well?
It's going to be interesting. It's a new product. We haven't tried it yet, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. And like one of the other things as well is that obviously we are League of Fire affiliated. And League of Fire goes, hey, do you want a spicy shot in your competition? I'm going, I'm listening. They go, what do you think if we chuck in some Killer Queen Chug 2s? So we've got Killer Queen V2s in there as well. You're probably aware of them, Adam. So they're, I think it's a 50 mil.
I've actually got a bottle of that in my fridge, which I could actually do a review of tonight.
Oh, there you go. If you want, okay, that's totally up to you, man. I'll leave it up to you. So it's 50 milliliters of a sauce with about 9 million Scoville extract in that one, Spice Legend. So if you haven't seen that one before, check it out. Killer Queen, all the way from UK. It's based off the UK Chili Queen, or UKCQ, UK Chili Queen. She's a bit of a weapon. And as you're like, weapon's an understatement, bit of a weapon.
Yeah.
She's 97 chili competitions and 0 losses. So she's a pretty serious competitor. So for her to bring out some products, it's pretty serious, pretty big deal. Yeah.
Yep.
So look, mate, let's jump into it. And also, if anyone who's watching the stream, feel free to comment in. If you've got any questions for our New South Wales champ, this is Adam, New South Wales Chili champ. Comment in below, and we'll ask him any questions you guys have. But for those that don't know you that very well, or haven't been initiated with you, what was your first chili experience that you ever had in your life that sort of got you onto the chili scene, mate?
The first I've always loved chili. Like in my young, like in my early 20s and 30s, I was always eating hot chilies and pods and stuff. What really got me into the chili scene was I was working as a nurse at Woodport Nursing Home, and I just happened to meet up with Jason, the Mustang Stables, and got talking with him, and he was telling me he grows chilies and makes like chili products, and I thought, oh, I don't mind chilies and I like them. He's given me some pods to try, and from there it just grew, and I'd go around to Jason's and we'd do reviews, do pods and that, and then he introduced me to a friend of his, Tracy Chili. She owns Tracy Chili.
And she
And
makes some wild stuff too, doesn't she?
she makes some very brutal products. And so at the time she was living here in East Gosford, East Woy Woy. She'd come over to
Here, the Enigma.
yeah,
I think it's like 3 million Scoville tink. That's brutal, but
yeah.
really tasty. Anyway, yeah, keep
And
going.
I've got Stigmata.
Oh yeah, that one was bloody hot too. That was at least 2 million Scoville for sure.
Ballistic Blueberry.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I've got Sadistic Strawberry.
Ooh,
And I've got Darkness.
the darkness. What was the dark? What was that one again?
It's like a licorice based.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, I'm not a licorice fan. Unfortunately, I'm one of those few people that if I put anything licorice in my mouth or in my stomach, my body just immediately rejects it. So I can't eat licorice, unfortunately. I can get aniseed in for some reason, but I can't get licorice in. I don't know why. Yeah.
I don't know if she did put aniseed in it, but it definitely has like an aniseed flavor.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. So what's the next thing we're going to chuck in our mouth tonight, mate?
So the next thing I figured I'd crack this one open. So this is the Kilty's habanero hot sauce. So this one's the habanero and smoked apricot hot sauce.
Oh, yum.
So I haven't actually opened this one yet. I haven't tried this one yet. So I have tried this one, but just haven't opened this bottle. So it's brand spanking new.
Yeah. Apricot's a bit of an interesting flavor. Like it's so weird that that a lot of fruity kind of flavors work really well with chili. Especially those medium kind of heat ones like habanero and stuff. I love it. You go for an absolute tablespoon too to demonstrate it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you jump on that one. So I guess that this sort of leans into the next question. For those that don't know you, how often are you eating chili and spicy food when you're not in competitions compared to when you're doing comp training?
When I'm not doing comps, I'm pretty much eating chilies every day. If I buy a bacon egg roll or a hamburger or something from the shop for lunch, I always put hot sauce on it. Always making mini meat pies and always putting hot sauce on them. So I'm eating chili usually every day. The only difference really would be the heat level. Like if I'm not training for a comp, then I just stick to the mild stuff and enjoy the chili. But when I'm training for comps, I do the really hot stuff, and I'm trying to do some of the challenges.
So one thing I've asked when you're training for competition level stuff and you're eating really spicy hot stuff, if you're eating stuff at that level, that heat regularly, do you really have taste buds at all at the moment?
No.
Like when you no, so you can't taste the thing. Like
once you get into once you get into the higher capsaicin products, you lose your taste altogether.
Yeah, right. And like,
yeah,
what kind of level do you know? Is there a certain Scoville where it feels like that's the level that you start to lose your taste buds at? Like, have you noticed?
For me, I probably find it would be around the Scorpion level.
So 1.2 million or 1.4 million, is that right?
Once you're eating hotter than 1.2 million Scovilles, it just destroys your taste buds, and then you can't taste anything. You're not eating. You're not eating it for the flavor. You're eating it for the training.
The heat. Yeah, absolutely. And what was going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, what's it called? When you do that, like there's some people I've seen that they go numb when they eat a certain amount of chili or get to a certain level of heat. Do you ever experience that numbness in the mouth, or do you feel it the whole time?
Oh no, I feel it the whole time. if you're going as you're going up the heat level, you start to feel it more. But when you start, like if you're eating a product with high capsaicin and then you eat something with a lower capsaicin, you won't feel it or taste it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that being said, then if that's the case, if you've got to go up to the higher levels when you're training right now for the national comp, is that the only
Yeah,
time when you're actually tasting stuff is when you're having the really super hot stuff?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That
So
you're not tasting. You can sometimes taste some of the flavors, but um, once you've basically destroyed the taste buds in your mouth, it's nothing tastes, nothing has flavor.
yeah, and so that's obviously for a certain amount of time. This is not forever as well. Like obviously you're
No,
going to
no,
be
no, no.
tasting once you ramp things back down again, right?
Yeah, no, it's once you ramp things down, like it'll probably take, I'd say after the comp, it'll probably take a couple of weeks for my taste buds to come back. For the
Yeah.
first probably week after the comp, everything you eat is it's gonna be bland and tasteless.
That's one
You
thing I
just,
noticed after you eat like Reaper level stuff and extracts and things, you don't taste anything, you don't feel anything in your mouth except for like temperature hot and temperature cold. That's about it.
yeah,
Is that
that's it.
the same kind of experience with you?
Yeah, same with me. I don't I only get the temperature, the heat of the chili. I don't get any flavor. I don't get any of that.
So, but
Still
that sort of
bleeding.
answers one of the questions there is like, obviously, so some people are worried, like, if they're not really initiated with chilies and chili comps and all kinds of challenges and things like that, they're worried that they're going to lose the taste buds or they're going to be completely burnt off. But it's clear that it's like a cycle. You know, you can burn your taste buds off, but they're not going to grow back because they're not destroyed, but they're just sort of like got a numbness or their tolerance has been like burned out, so you can't taste anything for a while, but it will come back. So yeah,
Yeah, it will come back. I guess it depends on how hot the products you're eating. Like if you're eating just everyday sauces and even the pods, like after eating a Carolina Reaper, might be a couple of days and you get your taste buds back. But after doing the big comps and that much product, then yeah, it's going to be a couple of weeks before you get your taste buds back. But they will come back. It's not forever.
what do you think the thing that's wrecked your taste buds the most so far that you've done?
I would honestly have to say the extracts.
The extracts. Is there one that sort
But
of stands out above the others?
there is one. There's one here which is this is Death Incarnate, 3 Stings Honey.
Oh yeah, yeah, that guy there. That is
I've just
nasty.
got in
12 million
I've just got in
cells.
a cup of hot water just to sort of melt
Make it
the
melt.
honey a bit.
Yeah, so it comes out the
But
jar, the container really easier.
yeah, that's one of the bigger. That's one of the big ones that'll destroy your taste buds for a good week.
Far out. So they're all saying no pain, no gain. Obviously, you're going into the national comp. You're not taking any prisoners. You're not there to go last. You're there to try and
No,
take first. Is that right?
yep, yep.
Absolutely.
I'm in it. I'm to win it. Just got to leave for a quick second. I've got to get the pies.
Yep, there you go. All right, that's all right. We'll let you go get some pies. So, if you guys are watching from wherever you guys are watching from, if you want to comment below any questions you have for me or Adam, either to do with just anything to do with chili or anything to do with the Australian Chili Champs, which is what we're interviewing Adam for, because he'll be representing New South Wales. So New South Wales, Australia, in the Australian Chili Champs. Again, Adam is no pushover. He's on Australia's Got Talent, eaten 25 Carolina Reapers, weighing 123 grams in 60 seconds. He's eaten 50 Reapers in 3 minutes and 22 seconds, so pretty hectic. Was it Jason? Hi, fellas. Have some training here for you, mate. Oh, tell us, Jason. So, have you been training Adam as well? Have you been swinging some dangerous stuff into his mouth, some fiery stuff? Let us know below. Because I know that you've created actually. Oh, yeah, and that's right. For those who don't know, Jason. So Jason has created this company called Suck Your Tongue Chili, and we actually have some of his gear. One of the rounds this year will be this stuff called taipan venom. So just got it there in the container there. Oh, if you can see it. So it's about a 3 million Scoville tincture. So we're going to be dropping some of that on our competitors on the Australian Chili Championships. That is a brutal tincture. Congratulations, Jason. That is fantastic. I think you originally called it the mix because it was a mixture of 3 different tinctures. Is that right? And that is the combination of 3 different tinctures and probably years worth of work as well. But well done. Are you giving anything else to Adam to rock his taste buds? Sorry, Jason just commented in before. He's got some training for you, Adam.
Yeah. I'm down for any training products from Jason.
Pete just commented below. He goes, "Who decides which chicken becomes chicken salt or a roast chicken?"
Yeah.
That's a great question, but that has nothing to do with chili, Pete. So I'm sorry I can't answer that. Good question though. Like, what's the answer to the meaning of life? 42. I don't know. Am I? If I knew the answer to that, I probably wouldn't be here, would I? But so you've got some pies there. What are we doing with the pies, mate? Is there a strategy with that tonight?
No, really, no strategy. Just sort of mix it with some of the sauces. I thought maybe inject one of the pies with some of our tinctures.
Make a gusher in the pie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you guys who don't know what gushers are, like some people have decided to do a bunch of different pranks on people. And one of the things that people have done is they've injected into chili pods or fresh chilies some extract. And so people are thinking they're just biting into a chili and it's just coated in extract and it bursts in the mouth and they're like, oh, I'm in trouble. So you're choosing to do that to yourself tonight. Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, mate. I love how calm you are about it. That's the funniest thing about you, mate, is you're quite a calm, cool, collected kind of bloke, you know? And for anyone that doesn't know you, they'd be so unassuming about you, your character and your personality, you know, that it's deceiving how much of a fierce competitor you actually are. Do you get that a lot when you go to competitions? People going, I didn't know you had that in you? Like,
yeah. Quite a few of the comps of people have commented. They're like, how can you sit there and keep such a calm face? Like, you don't look like you're burning, you know, like, and I've just got that game face on, and yeah, it's just, you know, all about pretty much just, you know, letting your competitors know that even though even though you're burning inside and you're feeling it, you're not showing it.
Absolutely. What's the next thing you're going to try there? Sorry.
So I know I have not tried this one yet. This one's the basket case peach habanero hot sauce.
Oh yeah, that sounds all right.
I don't actually believe I have tried this. I might have tried this one in the because I was one of the judges for the Mr. Chili Awards, and this was one of the sauces that we did review. So I had a bit of a taste of it, but not actually enough to really enjoy the flavor. Like,
yeah, because that's the thing. Like Mr. Chili, you do taste like a lot of stuff because you're judging multiple categories sometimes. So you got to go through a few products and items, and sometimes you actually genuinely have to have palate cleansers to do the best judging you can, because sometimes there's one sauce that will come in and just belt your taste buds and going, okay, that was wow, but now I need to cleanse my palate so I can give the next sauce a fair go or the next product a fair go. Yeah. What do you think of that one, mate?
It's actually not. It's pretty good. It's actually very nice. You can taste the peach in it. It's got a nice habanero heat.
Yeah.
So it's a very enjoyable sauce. This one. I think we rated that one very highly in the comp.
Yeah, I rate basket case sauces. They're fantastic, you know. And that was kind of one of the things that somebody brought up with me. There was still, I think there was some confusion this year. Somebody thought that I run Mr. Chili. I'm not Mr. Chili. I don't run Mr. Chili. I'm just one of the judges, just like you, Adam. And every year you just sort of handed categories. We don't choose the categories. We just sort of get handed the categories. And I think, was it this year I got tomato and 7 to 9 heat sauces. So we obviously entered the tribute sauce into Mr. Chili, but clearly we don't judge our own stuff. You know, like there's a little bit of controversy. You know, obviously that would be cheating. You know, so the person that received the sauces, that was the judge in charge of the barbecue categories, is all the way in Queensland, so not even the same state as us. And then the ironic thing was, I was in New Zealand when they did the judging. So I'm just like, the funniest part is I'm just going like, I couldn't have cheated even if I tried. That's the funny thing. Yeah, it's always an interesting time of the year when you get your Mr. Chili Awards categories, because you just don't know what you're going to get. And sometimes you just get some fantastic products, and then sometimes you get products where not so much, you know. And it's interesting because it's a blind tasting, like you've been aware of. You just don't know what sauce is going to be like from which sauce to which sauce. One sauce could be just so good, and the other sauce you're just like, oh, not so much, you know. G'day, Gary. It says Gary's here from Chili Sauce Distributors down in South Australia. Gary and Jane Ardern have been watching all our competitors, your competition, including you, to see what they're like against their competitor Ben Pittman, the Flaming Ginger from South Australia. What do you think about them scoping out you guys and their competition there, Adam?
I think it's good. It's good to have so many. I mean, when we done the we done the Australian Chili Championship comp back in 2022. We'd always talked about you'd always talked about wanting to do a live event and getting all the state champions together in one location and getting sponsors. So it's so good to have each state represented and each state having their own sponsor. And it's so good to see so many people get behind it and push it along to where it is today.
Absolutely. And like, I'm proud. It has taken a lot of hard work to get to there. It's not been an overnight kind of thing. No. I must admit that Darwin was a lot more work to get them involved than I realized. But I feel like it's come full circle, and it's been very rewarding. And I'm really stoked that we have one of our best producers in Australia down in Tasmania helping us run the Tasmanian Chili Champs now, which has become a thing, which is so awesome. Yeah. So to include Tasmania and Northern Territory, sometimes they're a bit of a black hole for chili, but now they've really been raised out of the ground there, you know. Gary Ardern, watching the competition. Absolutely. He's like, I'm watching you. So I'm kind of proud that we've got our Darwin competitor and the Tasmanian competitors in this year. So we've got all 8, like you're saying. But we also already just got approval to do our next Darwin Chili Championship next year already. So it's become a thing. If you guys weren't watching, we made a Darwin Chili Championship, but we built a festival around it. And the festival was so successful that we've already got so much interest that we're already hitting the ground running. We've already got approval for everything we want to do next year, bigger and better. So it's going to be fantastic next year. And that's why I've been talking to Gary and a couple of guys in South Australia. Unfortunately and shamefully, South Australia doesn't have any real chili comps. So I'm going to endeavour next year, because this is a weird thing, like at their chili festivals, there's no chili festival with a chili comp. How weird is that? Right? Yeah, I'm like, what? So I'm just like, no, not on my watch. So I'm going to aim to get down there next year, right? And we're going to try and coordinate with a chili festival next year in South Australia, a chili championship for South Australia, because we want to see what South Australia's got. And Ben's obviously got to try and defend his title for the South Australian Chili Championship. I know that Isaac might be in the mix as well. He was quite a dangerous competitor last year too. He only got taken out by these things because he breathed them in. And like, that's just really, unfortunately, bad timing. These guys are making a comeback this year as well. But we've decided to do something a little bit different. So last year, like you said, Isaac breathed one of them in and it went to the back of his throat and he's unfortunately coughed his brains out. But this year, what we're doing is we're going to put these in a shot glass and then we're going to pour this beautiful ghost liqueur over the top of them. So it's almost like a ghost cocktail mix with chili.
Nice.
So I
Oh,
thought
good.
that'll be pretty cool. That'll be a bit of fun, and that'll mix it up as well because everyone doesn't. Not many people don't mind a cocktail. I don't mind a cocktail myself, but to mix it with chili, so it's both A, enjoyable and B, pretty bloody hot, will be an interesting combo. How does it make you feel finding out about that, mate?
It's going to be interesting.
Because I like this creation. I've tried it. So this is from Pickle My Chili, all the way from Phillip Island, ironically. Ghost pepper, orange, and lime cocktail mix.
I've never tried that, so
there you go, mate.
That'd be a nice round.
That's the thing. There's going to be some unique products this year as well. Some of the ones that you guys already know, and some new stuff that you guys haven't seen before. So it is going to be an interesting year and some interesting rounds because, wow, it's going to be wild because some of the stuff you won't be able to receive in stores, or some of these things will be like a test run to see whether people want to try it again and whether it is a viable product for commercial use. So I was going to say, what's the next thing you're going to try there, mate?
So we've done that. So I might step it up a bit, and
all right,
I might go with Dexter's hot sauce number 6, Carolina Reaper, and roast capsicum.
Oh yeah, I've seen that stuff before. The old number 6, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
That's good stuff, one.
This is actually a really nice sauce. It's Carolina Reaper heat, so it is quite warm, but it's just such a beautiful sauce. Like, it's just so nice.
I do actually like it. It's quite a balanced Reaper sauce. Like, there's a lot of Reaper sauces out there where it's just mash or mash with a little bit of flavor, whereas this feels like there's a bit of they put a bit of thought into it. There's a bit of balance to it. So he's got the right level of salt and a bunch of other different ingredients in there as well. So
definitely got the right mix between heat and flavor. So yeah.
Yeah. Because I've seen other ones where the mix is a bit too watery or something like that, or there's not really any salt or any other real spices or flavors in it, you know? And that's fine. Obviously, sometimes you can make a mash to sort of use as like an additive to something, or it's sort of something to augment dishes. But this is sort of good on its own, but you can also mix it with other flavors and things as well. So it doesn't like destroy or ruin the dish, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So you talked a little bit about your first competition, but tell me from your perspective, what convinced you to get into competition chili eating, like competitive eating?
Well,
Adam makes Carolina Reapers sweat. That's a good comment. That's a great comment, mate. Adrian, if you've got any questions for Adam as well, let us know. Comment below, and we'll try and answer anything we can. So what got you into competition eating, mate? What was that? What convinced you to get into it?
Well, I didn't really know that there was any comps around at the time. It just basically, I was over at Jason's place one day, and Jason just said to me, "Oh, look, there's Central Coast Chili Festival up at Mount Penang Gardens," and so I got in touch with Rob Dunn, and just decided, you know what, I'm just going to go for it and do one of the comps. And then after doing that comp, I think I went to Newcastle and done the Newcastle Chili Festival's chili comp, and I won that. And then basically I was asked if I wanted to challenge the New South Wales champion for the spot, but he declined the challenge, and I took the spot. And since then,
that's right. Yeah, I think that guy's name was Ben as well.
Yeah. Since then, I've just been wanting to keep that spot, and I mean, there's a few people out there know that what my ambitions are, and one of my ambitions is to I definitely want to win the Australian comp and be the Australian champ, but I want that green belt. I want that
Yeah,
belt
that green
challenge.
bird looks good, doesn't it?
I am, yeah, I'm driven to challenge that belt.
Absolutely. And so what's it called? That being said, let's talk about that on that note. The person in your way is Gabby. You're well you're well aware of her capabilities. You've seen it both in person and in stream.
If I want that belt, I'm gonna have to take it off Gabby. And I'll tell you what, she's not going to let that belt go easily, and I'm up for the challenge.
Right. So that being said, as well, she's not only your competitor, and she's in your way of getting the Australian competition title, the Australian champ title, but she's in the way of you getting that green belt. What's your strategy? How do you beat someone like Gabby? Right? Because we all, if you've watched Gabby, you'd know that she's just on another level. And like people ask me to go, how does she do it? I'm like, I don't know. If I knew how she do it, I'd do it, right? Like, you know, and I'm sure you'd be the same, you know. What is your strategy to try and take out someone like that?
Gabby is next level. Like I've been up against a lot of Chile champions like Greg Barlow and other Chile champions as well. And I tell you, in my honest opinion, there's nothing heat wise that is going to phase Gabby. I truly do believe that it's going to come down to consumption.
Right.
How fast someone.
That being said, how are you going to use that to your advantage?
I've got quite a good consumption. I can put quite a lot of food and chili products away. So I've just got to basically try and use that consumption to my advantage.
Absolutely. And look, one of the weird things about Gabby is it is hands down, right? Gabby's like 5 foot or just under 5 foot, and she's a stick. She's so skinny, right? And it's almost frightening to see such a little person and a girl too. Like, no offense to girls, no offense to women, rah. But because of Gabby's demeanor, she's just so unassuming. She's so chill. She's so mellow. And then to see her just smash so much crazy hot stuff into her mouth where other people are like falling to the ground crying and puking, and she's just going, yeah. Like,
yep.
I asked the guy in New Zealand from just the recent New Zealand Chili champs, Shannon, who is the New Zealand Chili champion, right? He came second to her. And I said to him after the comp, after he's finished spewing, sorry, Shannon, but yeah, after you finished getting a lot of stuff out, I said, what was in your mind? What was in your mindset once it was just down to you and Gabby? What goes through your mind to try and beat her? And he goes, just don't look at her. Just don't look at that bloody face. Don't look at her face, man. Like, just look at the chili. Look ahead. Don't look at her. Just put the blinders on. He goes, if you keep looking at that face, it'll undo you. It'll unwind you because she's just so positively unaffected. It's frightening, you know? And I'm like, I've got to agree with you there, man.
It's so frightening, especially last year at the NZ Championships. Like just watching her eat all those chilies and not a single expression on her face. Like it's honestly like reading a blank card.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, I don't want to try and I'm not trying to talk you down, but one of the things I wanted to discuss, you made an interesting point on that last year's comp that you're at. I think you came, was it 5th? Is that right?
Yeah, I came 5th.
Now the interesting thing, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but I think you had it. Was it a nosebleed at one point? Was that right?
Yeah.
Talk us through what happened there.
Yeah, I started to get a nosebleed, and my stomach was just just a washing machine. I as much as I wanted to keep the chilies down, my stomach didn't want them and wouldn't keep them down. So
absolutely. And so, like, I've seen some people get nosebleeds from overheating and like their blood pressure's gone too high. What do you think caused that nosebleed on the night, mate?
I think it was probably more to do with just like the probably to do with just the way that I was feeling. Like I get random nosebleeds just out of nowhere.
Oh, okay. So it might not have been chili related at all.
No, it probably wasn't. It probably wasn't chili related. It's just mine. Is sometimes like I have bad blood vessels in my nose, and sometimes I just get a nosebleed out of nowhere.
Yeah, right. Wow. Because yeah, it was interesting. What the MC at the time, the MC was they got some pretty good MCs over there in New Zealand. They're from Rock FM, which is the local radio station. And if you guys don't know about that, if you're watching from Australia, check them out. They're on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. They're these guys, these Kiwi guys that read out all these awesome stories that are just hilarious. And the guy that we had last year, I think it was called the Yeti. Oh no, that was Melbourne. Yeah, this guy last year, it was fantastic. They've got some great MCs there as well. So it was sort of interesting. It was good to sort of put down the microphone a bit for myself and let someone else take control of the scene. But yeah, that MC's going, oh, one of our competitors has got a nosebleed. Like, you know, eating chili still has a nosebleed. Like, that was pretty full on. And the crowd is like, whoa, you know. So it sort of shocked them. But yeah, at the same time, you're like, oh, no, it was actually unrelated. But you're puking because of the chili. Is that what you were trying to say there?
Yeah. It wasn't so much chili related. It might have because I've never had a nosebleed while I've been doing comps and stuff. But yeah, it could have just been just the heat of the not so much the heat of the chili, but just the fact that it was starting to affect. Starting to basically the wheels were starting to fall off.
It'd be funny if he had some wheels on his nose. Anyway,
the wheels were starting to fall off my pain train. So yeah.
The wheels on the pain train. That's right. That's good. I love that. That's such a good. That's such a good sentence. The pain train. I remember. I actually did 1 year where I worked for Tough Mudder, and the first time I came across that sentence, "Welcome to the pain train," was Tough Mudder, because there's a sign before the very first obstacle, and it goes, "All aboard the pain train," and that's where I came across it. But then I see these people all over YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok that are having pain trains with chili.
Yep.
Can you talk people through a bit of the difference between physical pain that people receive from things like running marathons, playing heaps of soccer, physical exhaustion and fatigue, and the difference between that and the kind of pain that you receive and the willpower that you need in comparison to keep going in a chili comp? Because a lot of people that they don't compete at this level. It's a lot rarer to get people to compete at this level, this height of chili steely will. Talk us through a bit about the difference between like physical prowess and pain and endurance to this chili endurance and pain.
I find it's a whole different thing. Like I used to play rugby league when I was a kid, when I was younger, in my early 20s, and
you did soccer as well too, were you?
Yeah. I played for Toongabbie Seven Hills RSL, Toongabbie Seven Hills Soccer Club, and also played rugby league for the Toongabbie Tigers. And yeah, just like sometimes coming off the field after a game, you'd be so exhausted and you're aching, like your whole body is completely sore and broken down. But when it comes to doing the chili comps and that, it's a totally different level of pain. It's like after doing some of the comps, there's nothing you can do that's going to take the pain away. Nothing you can do that's going to, like after coming off the field after playing sports, you've got your ice baths and stuff like that, and you've got your creams and stuff that you can use for pain relief. But when it comes to eating chilies, there's nothing you can do to stop the pain. You've just got to ride it out. And I guess the question I get asked by a lot of people is, why do you inflict so much pain on yourself to do it? And I'm like, honestly, like I've always been a competitive person. I've always wanted to be the best at what I'm doing, and It's the same with the chilies. Like I've always wanted to win the Australian comp. I'm pushing to try and challenge Gabby for that belt. Um, I would love to represent Australia at the World Championships and potentially bring the world belt home and be the world
Oh, wouldn't
champion.
that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing?
That
That'd be so good. You know,
would be
in front
so
of Smoking Ed
good.
Curry too, no less.
Yeah, yeah. So it's I find with me the drive to win outweighs the level of burn, like and not just the level of burn, but the after effects. Like sometimes it takes 2 days to recover after the comps, and for that first day, sometimes you can't even eat anything. Like even water won't stay down. Like it's
Just coming at it.
just constantly eating and purging all day, just to try
So
and keep it clean.
I've got a very special treat for you guys this year. I'm going to be giving everyone that's competing this year a fire arse extinguisher. All right.
I got one in the bathroom.
There you go. So this will be like a refill for you. So those who don't know what this is the fire arse extinguisher. Believe it or not, it's a product that helps you with the burn when it comes out. It's coming out the rear, right? It's coming out of you like lava, and you're going, God damn, this hurts. It hurts to sit down, doesn't it? Sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
and it feels like a flamethrower is going at your bum. And this stuff, amazingly, I didn't think it was going to help as well as it claimed. But then I tried it after a challenge where I'm going, yep, I've absolutely wrecked myself and my insides hate me. And it's coming out of me like lava. I'm going, right, time to try this thing. And I'm going, oh, it works straight away. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, you got that experience too there, Adam?
Yeah, it's instant relief. It's instant relief, especially after you've like done, like even after doing the comps, like even though you do the big comps and that, and you purge after the comp, there's still chili products inside.
Oh yeah, it never comes out.
And even then, it doesn't need to be a comp that you're doing. It could just be eating a pod or something like that. And it's got to come out. It's got to come out the other end.
What goes in must go out, eh?
Yeah, and it does burn, but that fire arse extinguisher is it's bloody good stuff. It really is.
Yeah. It's a boon to a competitor or a person who wants to do challenges. So what's this next product you're going to try there, mate, for us?
So I've kind of gone up and down in the heat level. I'm not really sort of going up, down anywhere. So next one I'm going to try is the Echidna Prickle by the Chili Factory.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's the
so
very
this
first
is
flavor.
It's a mild honey mustard sauce. So it's actually real. I find this is one of my favorite sauces, not for its heat, but for its flavor. Because it's a very nice sauce.
Jason Stable's shitting lava explains it well. Absolutely. So I think Jason was touching on that. He was doing a little bit of training with you, mate. He said he might have some training here for you. Jason said, has he been feeding you some pretty volatile stuff?
Oh yeah. Jason's got some pretty volatile chilies there and some pods. I know he's got the Prematali, and I had the Prematali at our wedding reveal night at our party, and it floored me.
Yeah, because like according to Guinness World Records, the Primatalis are hotter than Reapers. They're on average, what was it, 1.79 million Scoville. That is a lot of heat. That is a lot of heat from a pod on average, right? That means you could get some mutants that might go through the roof even hotter. I'm just like, geez, you know. So I've come across a few different Primatali products and some pods as well. And they are no joke. They are absolutely no joke, you know. And it's one hell of a burn. It's one hell of a ride to hold on. There you go, Jason saying, yep, hottest pod we have ever tried, says Jason. There you go. And speaking of, a little creation that Jason's made, which I'm sure that you're aware of there, Adam, is the old Taipan Venom. So this Taipan Venom is a tincture that's roughly around the 3 million Scoville mark. So we're going to be dishing that out to our competitors this year for the competition. It's going to be a big, wild, massive competition. So we've got stuff coming from every corner of Australia. to try and knock you guys off. I think there's almost kind of a competition between the producers to see what product will knock you guys off as well. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. There's almost like a bet. Who's going to win, and what round are people going to get knocked out on, right? And what product's going to knock them out. You know. And I think a few of these producers is like, it's going to be mine. It's going to be me. You know, I'm going to knock them out. It's going to be my savage thing. You know,
it'd be a proud feeling. It'd be a proud feeling for a producer, like for one of the products, for the person who produced one of the products that knocks one of the champs out, like, because that's the goal, like.
Absolutely, yeah. Because that's the thing. You're not going into competition for taste. You're not going into competition to be nice. You're going in to beat everyone else, right? But then at the same time, the producers, they want to stop and knock down competitors. They want to swat them down like King Kong with the plane, bang, bang. You know, it's like, yeah. And so whoever wins is obviously like an absolute chili beast. And that's our aim with the Australian champs, because people go, oh, why don't you just do pods and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I could just do pods, but that's one discipline, you know. And as you know, Adam, that's one. There's many ways to get a chili burn, and there's many ways to knock a competitor out, right? And that's how we designed the Australian Chili Champs. We wanted to design the Chili Champs so that whoever wins is a complete chili beast in every single sector of a way to get knocked out in a comp, right? And as you've learned, you not one thing can knock you out. You can get taken out by tolerance, where it's just way too hot for you. You can get taken out by consumption, where it's just too much for the stomach. You can get taken out by your gag reflex, where it's like, oh, I just didn't hit the throat wrong, you know. You can breathe it in properly, or you swallow it wrong, you know. There's so many different ways you can get taken out because it just doesn't taste good. You're like, oh. So we've got some products that are going to really taste really nice. One of the ones I'm proud of this year, we've got a special sauce from Nord's. It's Smash and Passion, and we're putting together Australia's hottest and spiciest meringue. Oh. So this is going to be one of two products going to a spicy meringue. That's going to be very tasty. It's going to be very bloody hot.
I find one of the other things, which I experienced this in 2022 championships when I was trying to get the world's hottest corn chips, and which was the time.
Yeah.
Like, as you, if you're not like it wasn't the heat that bowed me out. It wasn't the consumption that bowed me out. It was, I just couldn't eat those corn chips quick enough. It was so dry. My mouth was so dry. I couldn't physically swallow.
Yeah. That is one of the things about the corn chips. So the world's hottest corn chips, guys, Spice Legends. If you've ever heard of them, they're about 2 million Scoville. They've got a mixture of Carolina Reaper dust, scorpion dust, and ghost powder all coated on them. And I mean coated like that.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way you're eating a single chip and you're not getting powder. You're going to get some powder. There's some bloody powder on there. And you're right. They are hot, but it's not just the heat that gets you. It's the dryness. They're so dry. And I'm sorry to Chili Seed Bank, like they definitely taste better than the Packy chip, in my opinion, the Packy One chip.
Oh, yeah.
But they're still very dry and they're not the greatest flavor. But again, they are a challenge product. They're there to test you, and they're not there to be your friend. They're not there to hold your hand. They're there to go, screw you, and ruin your taste buds in your throat. You know, so obviously that's why it's a fair bit of a challenge, isn't it? Like you felt firsthand. What's it called? Is that something you're concerned about again this year?
Yeah. I've actually sat down over the last month. I've sat down and I've actually watched the 2022 comp on quite a few occasions. I've sat down and watched the whole comp just to see how fast I was eating them and if I could have eaten them faster. Which, I mean, I was watching it compared to Greg, and I mean, I guess when I was doing the corn chips, I was just eating one corn chip sort of every now and then just to sort of get rid of them. And when I actually watched it, and I was watching how fast Greg was eating them, I'm like, shit, like he's eating 3 corn chips to my 1. Like, and then next minute, you know, like Greg's container was empty, and I'm like, oh shit, like I've got, now, I'm now against the clock to
Yeah.
finish these.
So that's right. We introduced the Royal Spice Legends. If you're not aware, what we have is that the competition is kind of a marathon and endurance, like you said there. That's the other factor, is that it's in the chili and the burning and and all that heat and pain is in there for so long. And every major chili competitor knows once you go past that 1 hour mark, you know that it's going to start hitting raw stomach. You know, especially that hour and a half. You know, if you're not hitting capsaicin cramps, then you're going to be feeling it soon. You're going to be feeling it very soon. And it's sort of, once you get to that point, as you're probably aware, Adam, it's just willpower, isn't it? You just, how much pain can you handle, you know, and how long can you stave off that pain for?
Yeah, it just comes down to willpower at that stage. Like in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, I don't know how much further I can go or how much more pain I can take. But you just got to push past it. You just got to find a way to get through that barrier and move on to the next product.
Absolutely, mate. And so that being said, is there something specific that gets you in that? In like when you've obviously, everyone has their own happy place or their own zone that they sort of go to. But what is it that you focus on in that happy place, in that zone? What gets you over the hill there?
I probably sort of I switch off. I don't like I'll be in my own little world. I'll be aware of everything that's going on around me, but in my subconscious, I'm switched off. My only focus is the product that's sitting in front of me. I switch off to the crowd. I switch off to the fellow competitors. I switch off to everything but that product that's sitting in front of me, and basically just try and dig deep and get it done.
And so that's a funny point that you put up there. You've see, I've been when I MC, I do things in a specific way, right? And you've probably noticed I'll rev up the crowd and I'll get a lot of crowded participation, and I try to get everyone interact. But most importantly, right, is something that I've noticed with some of the biggest competitors, especially the ones that feel it, is they, like you said, they go tunnel vision and they try to separate their mind from their body, right? You know, and you're dissociating, like you're saying. You're like, nah, don't feel it, right? Because you're trying to you disconnect yourself from that reality and just get it in the mouth. Just don't think about it, right? But one thing, and you're probably going to hate me for mentioning this, but that's what I do. I make you interact with me. I bring you back into it. I slap you back into it and go, and I make you engage. And if you weren't aware of it now, you are now. I make every one of you guys engage.
I'm well aware of it. Like I've been well aware of it for quite a few years now, like in the comps and that, where you're interacting with the competitors because you want to bring them back to earth and make them feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so sometimes it might seem subtle, sometimes it's not. But that's the thing, because you get the BS reactions out of people when they're trying to tunnel vision. They're like, no, I don't feel it. And then you start talking to them, and then you're sort of like, oh, what? I'm back. And then all of a sudden they get overwhelmed. Oh, there it is again, you know. And then they're sort of like, you know, they'll answer the question. They're going, and they're trying to dissociate. They answer the question, then they go, and you see them as I'm sort of walking past, and they go back into tunnel vision again, you know. But it's a real test of that people's mental strength to see, can they get back in there, or are they stuck in the present again? And they're like, oh, there he is, like, you know. And like, you must absolutely hate me, and a lot of the competitors must hate me for doing that to them. But
sometimes
not only makes it more entertaining, but it gives more of a challenge.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're in that tunnel vision, and then like you'll come along and you'll start sort of interacting, and you'll try and get them to talk or to try and sort of, you know, show some emotions, and then you bring them back to earth, and then trying to get back into that tunnel vision can be a challenge sometimes, because like I find with me, I try to get into that tunnel vision early before the real heat starts, and I try to stay in that tunnel vision but I'll try to bring myself out of that tunnel vision to interact with you, but then try and link back to that tunnel vision straight away. And I
Right.
find sometimes it's difficult to get that tunnel vision back.
So I know some people, like, what they do is they have like imagery that they try to do to lull themselves into sleep. Some people will count sheep. They go 1, 2, or they'll say random words. Is there a certain thing that you do to trigger you back into that kind of mental mode?
No, I just try to disassociate myself with what's going on around me and just try and just get back into that tunnel vision. I don't count sheep or anything like that. There's no real strategy for me to get back into that tunnel vision. I just try to get back into it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, look, I'm gonna let you try the next
Yep. So
flavor or you got there, and then I'm gonna
I
ask you this
think,
next question because I think that bleeds into our next question there too.
yep. So I think I might rip into one of these pods.
So what's this pods here for these guys at home?
So here we have two Oz brain killers. I have two Maruga Scorpion Butch teas, and
Yep.
here I have three Butcher Lokia Ghost Peppers. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
one.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go one of the Trinidad Maruga Scorpions, and yeah, sort of
All right.
sort
Go, mate.
of
Enjoy
step
it.
into the
So
real pod.
for those that are watching at home, these are not normal pods. These are, what was it, between 1.2 to
Uh,
1.4 million Scoville. They're pretty bloody hot. And they got that
yeah,
real good throat burn. It just grabs you by the throat. So enjoy that, mate. But that's going to certainly kick it up a notch. So the next question I was going to ask you. So one thing I've really have noticed with Mike Jack, aka the Molten Moose, he's become he was sort of on the fringes of the chili community, and then he got onto the Netflix special, the World Chili Champs in 2019 at Smoking Ed Curry's Farm. That was the previous one to what we're going to be attempting this year. One of the things I've noticed, his training has gone up, and the thing is, what we notice about Mike Jack, he does feel it. He absolutely does feel it. He does hurt afterwards. After he took on Greg for the world champion belt, the World Chili Championship belt. They did, was it 15 rounds? They absolutely went to battle, and he only beat Satan's testicles, I call them, says Adrian. That Greg only got beaten by like maybe a millisecond or half a second. It was super duper close, but Greg looked, barely affected, and whereas Mike Jack, even though he won, was horribly in a lot of pain, very, very much so affected, But one thing I noticed is he puts in one headphone, as you're allowed by League of Five rules, to try and, like, I think what you were saying there before is dissociate. Do you, if you win the Australian champs, what are you going to do to try and defeat that kind of defense mechanism, that defense protocol that he's put in there for himself? What's your strategy if you get to the world champs? What's your strategy to try and stop that? Because I know that if you make it, or Gabby makes it, or one of the other competitors make it, you're going to be one of those top competitors that are going to be near the end there. How do you defeat that? What's your defense for that?
That's a tough one to answer because I've never actually gone up against. I've never gone up against someone that has like an earphone in one ear, like where they're sort of disassociating themselves with what's going on around them. But I guess you could try and talk to them, like even though you're trying to disassociate yourself with them, try and bring them out of it. Just try and interact with with your fellow competitors. But as for trying to combat that scenario, like where everybody's sort of disassociating themselves with what's going on, I don't think there's really anything that you can do to try to train for that, or to. I think basically you've just got to really look inside yourself and just
Mm,
really
mm.
concentrate on what's going on inside yourself, really.
Absolutely. And so, well, the other thing I noticed about Mike Jack as well, and we're not trying to hate on Mike Jack. I actually, I think he's an amazing and phenomenal competitor. But if this is a competition, you've got to try and beat them. So you've got to come up with some strategies to try and do so. One of the other things I noticed about Mike Jack is his wife is there shouting encouragement and sort of getting in his face and just pushing him to motivate him is more. If you win, are you going to do something similar with your partner, or are you going to have someone in your corner yelling out to you or for you or saying certain things or phrases? Like, is that going to be a similar strategy for you as well?
Probably not. If I do win the Australian Championships and I go to America, I'll definitely have my partner with me. But I don't think she'd be. I don't think she'd really be vocally cheering me on. Like, she's a very quiet person, so um, I don't think she'd really. I don't think I'd really have um, that vocal support. Um, but yeah, having that vocal support can make or break it. Like, it can help push you through that speed, over that speed hump, or onto that next
Mm.
level.
Okay, absolutely. All right. So, what's the next thing you're going to eat there, mate? What's the next product or pod that you were going to be attempting?
So I thought what I might do is might get a pie
Yep.
and put a bit of extract in it.
Oh, so what extract are we putting in tonight?
Not extract, sorry, tincture.
Tincture. Oh, so which one's that one?
So this one is ballistic blueberry.
Ballistic blueberry. So do you know how many Scoville roughly that is? I know it'll be over 1 million for sure, at least.
Oh, it's definitely over 1 million.
Yeah, you reckon that's
100%
hitting the
guaranteed
2 million
it's
mark?
over 1 million. Yeah,
You
definitely
reckon?
guaranteed it's over 1 million.
Yeah, you reckon it's hitting that 2 million mark?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'll let you put that in your pie for now, and while you do, I'll ask you next question. So it sounded like I probably touched on before with you with the previous. Oh yeah, doing a whole Robbie dropper. Jeez, that's gonna tickle.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, if you get a whole dropper and you fill it completely full, they call it a whole Robbie dropper of tincture there. So he's just dropped a whole Robbie dropper of tincture there. It's probably at least 2 million Scoville. I'll let you eat that, and then I'll ask you the question.
2 million, yeah.
Yeah. So everyone, like you've been in this for a while now. You've been in this for a few years now, and I've touched on this question before, but I want to ask you now, seeing that you've got a bit more experience and a bit more few competitions under your belt. Have you got a best and a worst chili experience thus far? Like, everyone seems to have that one, or even if it's a competition or it's a challenge. Was there something that just stood out that you just like, oh my God, I want to either never do that again, or I've got to think about my life decisions very hard? Like,
Well, when it comes to worst, it would definitely have to be Central Coast Chili Festival at Mount Penang Gardens.
so the very first one you went in, the very first comp.
The very first one, the Beastie Boys on Fire. That still to this day is the worst comp I've ever done. It was just brutal. The heat of
And talk me
those.
through, while we're on that topic, talk me through, what do you think now that with your experience that you've got now and all the knowledge and that you've got now, what do you think went wrong there for you? Why was it such a bad time for you, do you think?
I think it was just a case that I didn't take you guys seriously enough. Really, like I just figured my stomach would get rid of those meatballs when it was ready, and I didn't take into consideration how much capsaicin had been processed at that time. And yeah, just the after effects were just brutal.
Mm. That's one of the things I will touch on. So, like, I don't know how to explain this without saying some funny things here, but a lot of people confuse chili extracts for the similarity of when you drink alcohol, right? When you drink alcohol, worst things come to worst, you get too drunk or you're getting a bit sick or nauseous, you just puke it out, right?
Yeah.
Extracts, though, and tinctures, as you're well aware, and encapsulated crystals, once they enter your blood, your body, your bloodstream, some of it's being absorbed, whether you like it or not, right? And unless you get rid of that stuff really quick, you're feeling it. It's going into your stomach, it's going to your guts, it's going into your intestines, and you're going to feel that stuff. And so that is exactly the reason why we told you that year. Go and get rid of it as quick as you can. And you're like, yeah. So, but you didn't have the experience to know at that time that that's what we were talking about. And you're like, yep, cool, I will. No problem. I'm not really feeling anything right now. But that's the problem. Yep. It sneaks up on you, and it builds, and it doesn't go away. And then the pain, it's funny, it goes in waves, doesn't it? It sort of comes, and you hit this massive attack, and you're going, yep. And then all of a sudden you're all right again. And then next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. and you're going, I feel like I'm going to die. What the hell? So what have you learned from that you're like, okay, this is how I'm going to do it now. This is my strategy. What do you do differently now to that first competition in Panay Gardens now when you walk into competition?
The one thing that I've learned is as soon as that competition is finished, get it all up. Get rid of whatever it is you've eaten. I guess depending on how serious the chili comp is. There have been some chili comps where I've gone and I've competed in the comps, whether it be pods or products, and I haven't purged because I don't feel the need to purge, and I can handle a certain amount of capsaicin going through my system. But when it comes to the serious comps with the extracts and the big products, yeah, as soon as the comp's finished, get rid of it, get it out, because believe me, it's not nice.
Yeah, that's an absolute red hot tip, and I'll agree. Like every time I do a challenge or any sort of like competition level stuff, or just just me having to taste and try, because a lot of people don't realize I keep this on the download a little bit. With the national comp, I have to taste everything. I have to try everything that you guys try because I have to place it in the heat category of where it's going to fit. And we sort of try to start mild and work our way up to wild, up to the really hot stuff. So I have to taste it individually and find out what it is and where it fits and how it goes in there.
You've got to know whether it actually is what it says it is and whether it's a hit or miss.
That's right. And sometimes I don't chickadee check myself before I wreck myself. you learn pretty bloody quickly. So, like, and the thing is, like, I know my tolerance is definitely above average to the average person. But then seeing you guys, how well you have trained to try and eat all this stuff in one go is absolutely phenomenal. So we sort of just delved on your worst chili experience, but have you ever banked the best chili experience? Is there something that you just like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to top that?
I mean, probably my best chili experience to date would probably be. I mean, looking at it, it would probably have been close between doing the Australia's Got Talent, doing the Reaper record, the 25 Carolina Reapers in 60 seconds on Australia's Got Talent. But equally as good as that, I would say it would have been going to New Zealand to do the NZ Chili Championships over there with Gabby and Greg and you.
Absolutely, yeah, because that comp is no pushover. That is a pretty hardcore comp,
No, that's pretty hard.
22 rounds, and they really try to stay away from speed rounds, so which is, it's quite inspiring to see people just absolutely gunning for it. At the same time, you're just seeing somebody, there was a comment in my feed, on the handheld feed, and you're seeing, what the comment was, you can literally see people's souls dissolving. What's the comment? I was like, that's a pretty accurate description. You can see people's souls eroding from their face, like,
Yeah.
and like you were sort of touching before on like poker faces and keeping you cool. And does that sort of knock off a few competitors as well, like keeping that poker face thing? That seems to be like another strategy for people out there that do feel it, trying to make it look like they don't.
Yeah, it's I I find sometimes, like when I kind of first came across that sort of when I was doing the Canberra Chili Festival, and when I was going up against Chantel, and like looking at her, like when we were going head to head in that comp, like she was burning. It was really, really burning her,
Mm.
and I just had this complete blank face, and she's just looked at me. She's going, "You don't look like it's even affecting you. Like you don't even look like you're burning." And I'm like, "Oh, believe me, I'm burning. I'm just not showing it." Like, and it's just, I think when someone sees, like, if you're going up against someone and they see that you're just, if they're sitting there and their, tongue's hanging out and they're dribbling and drooling, and they look over at you and you've just got this blank face and you're not affected at all, I find it does have an effect on um, not so much their mental state, but they're looking at it and they're thinking, oh God, like this guy's not even affected by it. There's no way I'm going to beat this person. And then they just
Mm.
tap out.
Yeah, so it affects their psyche to a degree, for
Yeah,
sure.
you
Right?
could you could break their spirit just by the look on, like, by hiding your feelings, or I mean, there are some people out there like Gabby, who doesn't feel the pain. And in that case, something like that won't work, because she's not affected by the pain and that. So you've just got to you'd have to find some other tactic to attack Gabby with, because
Mm.
yeah, her, like, because she doesn't show any emotions, like she doesn't show any feelings that she's burning, because she's not. But yeah, like I do find in some comps, like if you can sort of psych your opponent out, that could be the edge you need to get them to tap out.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And like that was the interesting thing, that the difference between Gabby and Greg, like we were sort of talking about Iron Guts. Greg was the previous Australian competitor. And so I'll just show you as well, actually. This is one of the things you're competing for this year, is the Australian Chili Championship Golden Boomerang. There's Greg there twice, and then there's Dave there, did the Bradbury. And then, as you can see, first place, Australian Chili Champ. So with the new improved Golden Boomerang. So it's pretty bloody big.
Yeah.
It's epic. And so, yeah, we've got that one. And I'll show you, we've got our second place trophy, which is sponsored by Mr. Chili. Pretty bloody awesome. Nice big silver one. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. So the Golden Boomerang is like a boomerang. It's going to return every year, and then we'll give it to the next winner. So the first place guys will get this one as well. This will be your keep one that you get to keep.
That'll be the keep one, and the other one will be the one.
That's right. And then third place will get this little puppy here, as well as everyone gets all their chili packs as well. So the first place winner gets a year's supply worth of chili products, which is pretty awesome. We've got a whole range from between sauces to rubs to all different chips. I think we've got the world's hottest corn chips, which you'll probably be sick of by that stage. You're like, oh, not this again. But yeah, and then obviously this trip to America, which is going to be absolutely amazing and another step up. This sounds like a lot. There's a lot of on the line. So because this stuff's on the line, I think it's motivated your fellow competitors to train even harder. And on that train of thought, a lot of the guys, have upped their training. And like I've seen the South Australia guy has been eating challenges with 16 million pure capsaicin crystals in it. I've seen the Tasmanian guy eating just straight from the spoon capsaicin crystals, just mixed with nothing but oil, I know that obviously Gabby is going to be your major competitor this year, but there is so many people gunning for this #1 spot this year. What are you going to do to try and push these guys back so you can get towards that first?
I look at it this year, and it's up in the air. Like as I said, I've done the 2022 comp, and then going up against Greg Barlow, and then the 2023 comp last year, with like the internet debacle and everything. But
yeah, that was so frustrating. I apologize for that.
Pretty much everyone in this year's comp is a newcomer, so you just don't know what everyone's level is at. So it's going to be a very interesting comp. Given the fact that it's a live event, so there's no internet issues, there's no mailing issues, there's no issues with damaged products or products that have been opened or anything like that. It's just it's coming down to the live comp, and
just rock up and rock on.
I think everyone's got a fair chance. Like, it'll just come down to I think for Gabby it's going to be consumption. I think if someone can take her far enough to the end, consumption might come into it.
Absolutely. And so, look, one of the things I wanted to just touch on before was the huge difference between Gabby and Greg was where I was sort of tapping on before. Greg was an interesting character because Gabby, like you said with Gabby, she's very quiet, she's very chill, she's very mellow. You don't really get anything out of her. Whereas Greg was just very engaged. He was engaged the whole time. He was shit stirring, cracking jokes. He was sort of with you the whole time. What do you think out of those two was more unnerving? Do you think that Gabby is more unnerving because she's just quiet and chill and looks completely unaffected, or do you think that Greg, being there with you, present the whole time, cracking jokes, laughing, giggling, what do you think's more unnerving out of those two?
I would honestly probably have to say Greg, because to be able to like when you're doing these big comps, sometimes you've got to get tunnel vision. You've got to block out everyone else, because if you don't block out everyone else, then it can affect your mental state and your ability to keep going to the next rounds. And you see Greg, and he's just, as you said, he's cracking jokes and he's laughing and he's interacting and that, and you think to yourself, how can you do that when you're burning so much? Like,
absolutely, and like I'm just filming it. I'm not even eating what you guys are eating, and I'm just shaking my head going, what?
And then it's also the opposite with Gabby. Like, you sit there sometimes, like when you're going up against her in one of the comps, and you look at it and you think, how can you keep a straight face like that? How is this not affecting you? And it's so I honestly don't know what's more unnerving, whether it's Gabby's just complete stone wall face, like just she's like a brick wall.
You're not wrong with that. That's so true.
But then you've got Greg, and he's so outgoing and outspoken, and he's so energetic during the comps and that, and you're just like, I don't know which is more unnerving, because like I do feel the burn. I do feel the burn, and it's and to sit there going up against someone who doesn't feel the burn, it's unnerving. It truly is unnerving, because then you start to think to yourself, well, do I really have a chance of winning? Is it really worth it? And I mean, for me, it is. For me, it's worth every second of it, because, at the end of the day, whether I come first or whether I come last, I've given it a crack. And as you said, these comps are not easy. These comps are not something that just the everyday Joe can do. Like, we're all trained. We're all
round one is habanero.
Yeah. And habanero is it's hot enough on its own to knock out a lot of people. So
for those who don't know, habaneros that are between 100,000 to 350,000 Scovilles. Put that in perspective with a jalapeno being 3,000 to 6,000 Scovilles. Not the everyday person cannot do that, you know. So for you guys to start on that round one out of 30, it's not normal. I do affectionately call you guys freaks of nature a few times a day because of that, because you guys aren't normal people, you know, and I mean that as a compliment as well, of course. Because it's just not normal stuff. It's not normal competition level. And like I have like American people all the time approach me going, oh yeah, you Aussies think this and that, rah rah. Then I tell them what's in the comp. They're going, oh man, that's pretty crazy. That's wild. Like, whoa, you started on habaneros? I'm like, yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's a comp with a difference. And the other thing I think you probably noticed with the competition is we don't keep everything the same all the time. We keep slotting and moving things in, moving things out, and changing it around. Some of that's on purpose and some of that's not. But the thing is, there's a reason behind that, is to keep all you guys on your toes, because we don't want you to have everything, expect everything. We want you to sort of be going, oh, okay, what's this, you know, and have a bit of mystery about some of the things, you know, because that's another element to competitions as well, is that sometimes you're like, oh, I can go to this level, or I'll be able to make it to this round, and you can sort of strategize. But if you don't know what everything is, you're like, oh, what's your strategy? Just go as far as you can go, kind of thing. Is that right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I just saw you touching on that little tink there. Do we want to give that tink a go before we clock out tonight?
The spray one?
No, not the spray. The extract that you had in your tea, or that hot water there. Yeah.
The 3 Stings Honey Death Incarnate.
Yeah. So Steve commented before. So this is Steve, the Canberra Bunny. Different box of nasties each time. Absolutely, Steve. So we try to mix it up because we want to make it interesting. Can't be the same thing over and over again. But at the same time, we want to keep on creating new, different, unique products, unique rounds, keeping everyone on their toes, but making it fun and interesting and adventurous and different, because that's one of the things we do like being about the Australian Chili Champs. We try to make it a bit different than every other comp. We try to have a bit of a point of difference, but also a serious competition where it is challenging for everyone involved. So how much of this gear are we going to try, mate? You're just going to stick it all on a spoon? Is that what's happening?
I'm gonna put a decent wad on the spoon.
So for those that don't know what this stuff is, guys, this is 3 Stings Death Incarnate. That's what Adam has there. This is about 12 million Scoville. It's honey with 14 million Scoville extract in it, right? This is a creation of 3 Stings, Jason Robig in Queensland, and Fine Line Gourmet Chilies. It's from an extract called Death Extract, which is 14 million Scoville. And obviously the honey dilutes it a little bit, but not enough to make it enjoyable, because the honey is an enjoyable flavor. It's a great taste, but it's not over quickly, is it, Adam?
No, this is not. This is not something that's going to be over quickly. This is going to have after effects for some time, because it is extract and it's not coming back up. It's going all the way through. So yeah, it's this is going to be painful.
Fair enough. All right, mate. Well, I'll let you get that in the golf, and we'll ask you the next thing.
That's a flat level teaspoon. So,
jeez, what was you said? That was a tablespoon or a teaspoon?
Tablespoon.
Oh man, that is gonna tickle. Absolutely. So, look, we're on the pointy end of this thing. We're going about 98 minutes. Far out. Probably one of the longest one we've done. But look, have you got any advice to people that want to attempt this kind of stuff, and what's in the future for the Chili King? That's got some heat to it.
My advice for anyone that's going to try these things is do your homework. First of all, don't eat any of these on an empty stomach, because a lot of these sauces and that are quite hot. So don't do it on an empty stomach. And
And you're not doing tablespoons of these sauces in the comp, by the way. You're all doing shots too. But
Yeah,
just to remind you. So it's not a
yeah,
little bit, it's a lot.
yeah. But yeah, just do your homework. Make sure you're not eating on an empty stomach.
Yeah. Is that what
And
you did at the first Penang Gardens one?
no, the Mount Penang Gardens, I hadn't. I didn't have an empty stomach. I ate and prepped before that. But yeah, just with the Mount Penang Gardens, it was just I kept it in too long.
Yeah. So Steve just commented below. He goes, "I watched you in Griffith. Is it worse than what went in your eye after you smashed the 50 Reapers?"
Is it what?
So the extract you just put in your mouth then, is that worse than what went in your eye after you smashed 50 Reapers?
Worse.
Worse. There you go. Fair enough.
That extract is absolutely destroying the back of my throat.
Oh, there you go. Well, we might cut it off. We'll finish up the interview. But the last thing I want to ask you is, you want to do any sort of shout outs to friends, family, people that are helping you, supporting you, training you in your corner of the ring and for this competition?
I just want to do a huge shout out to all the state champions. You're champions already. Just enjoy the day. To all their sponsors, thank you for all the support and help.
Yeah, huge thanks to all our sponsors, guys. Seriously, this wouldn't be possible without you guys at all.
A huge shout out to you, Phil, for everything you've done for these comps. Like, you put your own money and effort into these comps. You don't get anything back in return other than our thanks and that. So you do an awesome job.
No, thank you. Appreciate that.
That's okay. Oh, that's smashing the back of my throat. That is.
It's grilling you now. Absolutely. I can see you. Yeah, you're starting to shut down a little bit. Yeah, that's right. Keep going.
But yeah, and to my fellow competitors, good luck. Bring your A game, and we'll see you in Soto.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. All right, mate. We'll let you go. We'll love you, leave you. Thank you so much for joining us. We went a bit longer than usual. We're what was it? 100 minutes. Wow, 102 minutes. But we'll let you go, mate. Thank you so much for joining us and have a bloody good burn sesh. Obviously, you know that your training's going to be up and up. We're only 28 days away from the national comp. It's creeping up. Are we excited or a bit nervous?
Both.
Both.
Absolutely. A bit nervous.
What was that?
Excited and a bit nervous.
Absolutely, because it's going to be a bit different this year. Not just sitting in front of a camera. You're going to be in front of it, possibly up to between 30 to 40,000 people. It's a lot of people either cheering you on, booing you, everything and anything in between, you know. So it's going to be one hell of a day. So for those who don't know, it's July 6th, Saltell Chili Festival, 20 minutes below Coffs Harbour. It's going to be epic. So massive chili festival. I think it's been going for nearly 23 years now, or 24 years this year. So it's one hell of a festival. It's been one hell of a competition. But thank you again, Adam, for joining us, mate. We'll let you go, buddy. Anything you want to say before we go?
No, not really. Just thanks heaps for the opportunity to come on and talk, and look forward to Coffs Harbour.
No worries. Adrian says, nicely done, Phil and Adam. Great content. No worries. Thank you, Adrian. All right, buddy, we'll let you go. You have an awesome night, and we'll be talking to you face-to-face very soon. Awesome. See you, mate. Well, Spice Legends, that's it for our spicy goodness. Thank you so much. I know this interview went a bit longer than usual, but, yeah, we had a lot to talk about and a lot of content to go through. The July 6th Australian Chili Championships at Saltell Chili Festival coming up very quickly. Only 28 days to go. It's going to be amazing. If you want to be there on the day, again, it's only 20 minutes south of Coffs Harbour. If you can't make it on the day, go and tune into Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube for Burnin' Bites Down Under. It's BURNIN. No G, it's burning Aussie. It's going to be an amazing day. We're going to get 3 different camera angles. We're going to have handheld, so you see what I see, and we're going to also have a static camera so you can see the whole stage at all times as well. So that's your choice, what you guys want to do, or if you want to flick through a few on the day as well. So again, that's YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. But Spice Legends, that's it for our spicy goodness. Join us very soon. I think it's Monday. We're going to have Dave from Queensland, the Flamin' Bogan, join us. And get his take on all the makes and the breaks. He's also our Australian Chili champion from last year. He did a bit of a Bradbury. We might talk about the Bradbury moment there as well, Spice Legends. But that's it for our Spicy Goodness, Spice Legends. All I have to say for now is keep calm, be awesome. You.